Everybody, welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and today we are talking about if you should pull Cocoa. And now I'm going to be honest, I think this might be the first time since this game has come out that I am all in saying that I think you probably should pull for this character. Normally I'm like, well, even with like Edda, I'm like, I really like the character. I think you should pull for it if you want someone that's really cool with the liquor and it's really good. And even with Simona, it's like Simona just seems like a super strong version of the Ice Priest. Absolutely super useful in tons of content and powerful and cool. But Coco here, this is like another level. She is actually kind of just busted straight up. So I think I'm going to do a video going over more how to build her. But I kind of want to give you a demonstration of what she could do. So let's go into a couple battles here really quick. So I did two different battles here that I kind of wanted to just show you like what she's capable of when she's built. So first, let's pause here really quick. So where are we? We're in weapon trial level 65, which is not the hardest content in the game, but it is noticeable. What's going on, game? There we go. So weapon trial level 65. These guys have 4,397 attack. So like maybe not literally the highest in the game, but they've got some really high attack. And so let's kind of take a look at what she does. So we'll go over her kit in just a second, just to kind of double and go over what she actually does and the abilities I recommend you take. And kind of we talk a little bit about the issues I have with some of these characters too. But watch this. So they're going to come up. She's going to jump in front, 1,700, and then she heals 1,000. Then he's going to come up a punch there. Boom, jumps in front, 2,500, and then you heal 1,000. And then her turns comes up, she heals another 12,000, right? These are level 65 enemies. They're higher than the level cap we could reach. They have better stats than we can get, and it just doesn't matter. Like, her defensive stat isn't that high. I mean, 1,000 is high, but it's not like crazy high. She's taking a lot of damage. It's really just she has an insane HP pool, right? Almost double of what Magnus has. Combined with the fact that it's the main reason I'm using Magnus, by the way, is for the blood and steel buff here. You take 10% less damage when healthy, and you ignore the you get the 20% defense and the injured state. So it's a great if you have Magnus, it works really, really good with Coco here. But like you could just kind of see, like they just don't do that much damage. Let's actually take a look if they do one more attack. This is an attack now that I've lowered their attack, right? So I've lowered their attack. Now they're hitting for 1,200. I heal for 1,100. It hits for 1,800. I heal for 1,000, right? And that's probably the end of the fight there. But I mean, absolutely just literally unkillable, right? So now let's take a look here. This is Trial of the Tower 10-1. 10-1. The reason I picked these units are pretty clear. I actually could have picked Magnus first. Magnus would have been better for the exact reason just from the last trial. But the one thing I did pick is I picked PayPal Ice Priest because I'm just dumb, and I gave mine the defensive thing, just a big AoE defense up 2, easy peasy, don't gotta worry about it. So I got it there. And so let's take a look at these enemies, right? This enemy is got level 66, 4,302. Do they have anything else here? Increased damage dealt by 40% when attacking enemies from the side or behind. Acts again after defeating an enemy. So like 4,466, 4,500. This is trial level 10, by the way. So she's not going to be as impressive here, but she's still going to be almost as impressive. Like, again, this isn't me trying to win. This is just me tanking, right? So they hit her for like 2,000, and then they knocked her back. And then someone else is going to come up. She's going to jump in front, take 1,200, absolutely tank it, heal up again. They hit way harder here, I won't lie. Boom. Yep, she's going down. But she lives. And what's crazy about her is that she gets to do that again every round. So now she gets to heal. And if she heals again, Iron Pot Stew, one of her abilities here, incredible animation, by the way, she just gets to heal up again. Now she's at full health after tanking 3 hits at a trial level 10. I don't know about you, but as someone that's done trial level 10 a lot of times, the idea of you taking attacks and surviving is kind of crazy. This is also going to make Simona way, way harder to kill. So we totally lose this fight, right? We don't really do much after that. The point was to see if she could survive some attacks. And not only did she survive 3 attacks in 1 turn, she thrived too. You don't typically need to survive that many attacks in a turn. And if this is what's so crazy about her. I mean, this ability here, Stay Strong, is whenever she gets hit by a single target attack. Let's actually go back so we can change the music back to something more pleasant. I don't know why it gets stuck like that. But after being hit by a single target attack, she heals her and another ally. So if another ally does happen to get hit, she's still healing them for 12%. One ally with the lowest HP percentage within 2 tiles around the character for 12% of their HP. It could be activated up to 2 times per round. So she'll heal up to 24% of her max HP every round if she takes 2 hits. But the Potluck Protector here, when blocking, damage taken is decreased by 15%. Now, one kind of weird hole in her kit here, while we're on Potluck Protector, is she has block, and while blocking, she gets extra defense decrease, but she doesn't have any way to guarantee that she gets block. So the only way to guarantee block from her is to block ranged attacks. And when it comes to melee attacks, she doesn't have a guarantee. It's always just a 50-50. So she could take a little bit more damage than you would expect because it's never a guaranteed block unless it is a ranged physical attack. But this is a passive. She's always going to jump in front of allies that need it, except she's smart. If she's dying, she won't do it anymore. So she's not going to get herself killed just to save another ally from taking a hit. Sometimes it's an issue when you have like suppression or whatever, where he gets really low on life and the other character can tank the hit, but suppression says, nuh-uh, not today. And he jumps in front and tanks it and gets himself killed, right? She is smart enough to not do that. She will allow herself to stay alive and into the next round, where she can start healing herself again. So absolutely crazy abilities here. So Coco's Treasure Chest is an ability I didn't really use in that video, but it is actually maybe the most busted ability in the entire game. So all these abilities, let's actually just go in combat really quick. Let's just go in combat and we'll take a look at these abilities. All right, here we go. So this ability is insane. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 abilities within this ability. One of them costs no energy. 3 of them cost 1 energy. This one is an instant speed. It still has a cooldown. These will all have cooldowns associated with them. I think most of them are 2 turns, except for the top one, which is 1 turn. So these are all 2-turn cooldowns. This is 1. It sets the cooldown for this ability. So it's an instant speed, heals a target for 25% of the caster's HP. Her HP is like literally, put that down. It's like, it's not double everyone else's, but it's way higher than everyone else's. So this is an instant speed heal for more than 25% of anyone else's HP. It doesn't even interrupt her turn to do it. Great ability. Can only be used 5 times per battle. Wow, that's it? Are you sure? And it costs no energy. You could just use this casually every turn if you don't think you're going to use one of these other abilities because they're on cooldown or something, or because you don't want to start the cooldown. The second ability, though, it costs 1 energy and it's not instant and has a 2-turn cooldown, so it gets more expensive, but it heals for 45% of the HP and recovers an energy. I mean, this isn't the best version of this ability, but it's combined with all these other abilities, which makes it so good. So you do get to recover someone's energy as well and do a big single target heal if you need to. But maybe the best one here, because it works on herself, is the Snow Lotus. Dispels all debuffs. Takes 1 energy, by the way. Dispels all debuffs from the target. It doesn't have to be yourself, but it can be. Granting them damage 3, damage reduction 3, and immune to attribute debuffs for 3 turns. You could put this on Cocoa, and she gets damage reduction 3 for 3 turns. This is a 2-turn cooldown, meaning she has, and this could be used 3 times per battle, she has 9 turns of passive 30% damage reduction. Or she can give someone else 9 turns of 30% bonus damage and these other effects as well. I mean, this ability is fucking sick. It also, because her ability to guard is a passive, so she doesn't need to activate it. It's always active. So just having this is going to make her so much tankier. But in case that wasn't good enough, it also comes with a really good, insanely good damage ability. Single target attack deals piercing damage equal to 30% of their HP, so it's already good. It's like a weapon eroder, stuff like that. This weapon eroder, armor eroder, which are good abilities in tower, and a lot of content against really tough enemies where your tank isn't necessarily your damage dealer, so you could still push out some damage. But this also inflicts sleep and 2 stacks of infection. Inflicting sleep is a pretty big deal at a range of 3, while also applying 2 stacks of infection, because it does 30% HP, and then it's going to do 2 stacks of infection of HP, which I think is another 14-ish percent. I think it's like 6 to 7% per stack. Then it also sleeps them, so they have to sit there while they take it, or while you like line up a big turn against them. This is all in one ability. This is all in the treasure chest. This is insanely powerful. Every single fight, I want to use all of these. Like, I've used all of these in different fights. This is the one I use the least because I usually have the energy left over to do other things. And this is maybe not even her best ability, which is insane. So if we come here to her ultimate, which is the one that you saw where she, you know, actually cooks the food and you get to see the nice picture. There's a cool animation. Heals all allies within 3 tiles for 30% of her HP. That is a big boy heal. She has a lot of HP again. And this is all stacking with her passive that passively heals people anyway, just over time, and debuffs them with stuff. Then she also grants them all crit 2 and crit damage 1. Crit damage 1 is a 15% damage increase for crit. And it gives them bento, so when their turn starts, they're going to heal another 25% HP. So they're healing 30% of Coco's HP, then they're healing 25% of their own HP, then they're also dispelling 2 debuffs. And they're getting crit buffs, and they're getting damage buffs, all while also being supported by a person that literally can't die because she heals himself to oblivion. I mean, this character is broken. She's fucking busted, bro. She feels like, again, she's not putting out the damage numbers, all right? You're not using her because she puts out the damage numbers. It's just not what she's for. And I feel like there is an issue where people were talking about, you need to get her 5 stars. You need to get her 5 stars because she gets guaranteed happiness triggers at 5 stars. A whole part of her kit we didn't even really talk about that much is her passive. But at the beginning of her turn, she grants breakfast to 1 ally, and it goes up to 2 allies? Breakfast to the 2 lowest allies. And breakfast basically heals them for 15%. It's like half the effect of a bento effectively. But then after the breakfast or bento effect is triggered, they have a 30% chance to gain happiness. What is happiness? It's insane. For all skills, reduce their energy consumption by 1. So skills get a discount. After you use a skill, the cooldown of that skill is reduced by a turn. So that means, bumping. There we go. And that means effectively, if you have a 100% chance, whenever you use your AoE bento or every turn, some character is going to get cooldowns and energy reduction, and everyone's going to get it this time. She gets passive HP. I mean, it's an absolute insane part of her kit. But not joking aside, I mean, this 1 star is insane, bro. She is so strong at 1 star. Absolutely worth pulling at 1 star, because once you get her to 1 star, really all you got to do, what I would do is I would get her to 2 stars. You could get her to 5 stars. I would recommend that, of course. Over time, it's insanely overpowered. But like even 2 stars, just 20, like 10, not even 10 days, like 8 days or something, of 7 days, would be, you get this and you get 10% increased HP on top of that. So that's also just pretty good. She gets passive 10% HP, and mine's only 1 star, and she's fucking tanky as shit. So let's talk about the things that I kind of dislike, though. Is nothing about her kit, actually. It's rank 1 is Crushing Bash, which you're probably never going to use. You might, but you probably won't. Or you get Mountain Tribes, which I think is probably better. It gives you movement sometimes, and then you get increased damage in the Highland. It's mostly for the movement speed when unharmed, because she heals herself a lot. But like, you need both of these abilities. Both of these abilities are her two, like, these abilities are so strong, and they put them on the same line. They could have easily have switched these right here, so you could have not had any issues. But they're like artificially, I mean, they made originally when I was looking at lower rarity characters for Castalia, it was cool to do characters in a certain build. Like, oh, this unit is going to be more of a alert style unit, or this person's going to be more an aggressive debuffer kind of unit, or something like that, right? Like, it was like 2 different build paths for the same character. But with these legendaries, it's like, this isn't an option. You have to use one. As soon as you get one, you need both of these abilities. If you have to pick one, you pick Potluck Protector, but you're giving up on like one of the strongest abilities in the entire game, and you're making her way less tanky because you're not giving her passive damage reduction and passive healing in that way. And it's like, this ability is so strong, I feel like you need both of these. That's kind of lame. Also, that's the only issue that this one comes up on her, but it's always at like these rank 3 spots, I feel like. It's like this really pivotal abilities, both of the same thing. And I don't really like the way they did that. I mean, because like her auto attack is fine. And honestly, they gave her a bad flag, like a normal one. So it's totally fine. It doesn't really matter what you take here. This one is super easy. This one's super easy. This one, it was easy for me. This one's the most obvious one in the whole skill tree. This one doesn't really matter, but right here is a little awkward. So it's attacks, right? And because they've been taking them out of the event, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's been kind of annoying for me actually to have to spend it. I like spending this because I like maxing out other characters of lower rarities or other characters just to get like try different things with new characters. But I feel like I need to save a bunch of these because a character is going to come out and I'm going to need to use 2 of them to get all their relevant abilities. And that's kind of like annoying. But besides that, also, I like the 3 skill slot. But the issue here is her skills are so, for me, it's like so obvious which ones you need to use here. For me, you need Potluck Protector because that is basically her whole build. This is the only one that I would say is flexible if you don't want her to be a tank at all. If you want her to be a pure dedicated healer and support unit, you can get rid of this, but then you're putting in a little bit of damage. And do you really want a little bit of damage? Because she's not that good at damage. Physical defense down and speed down too are both good, but it's like, do you really need just a little bit of damage? So it doesn't feel like this really matters if you're going for a more Healy support route. Whereas if you're going a full tank route, then you're kind of built like you need the Iron Pot Stew because it's a huge healing for your whole team because you're a healer. I mean, you could get rid of it if you want, but again, are you going to be tanking and then trying to deal a little bit of damage at the same time? You could do 100% where you have a chance to inflict stun if you hit him in the back, or you could do like a little bit of a debuff. I just feel like it doesn't really matter, even though I like this ability. I love this ability, actually. I would use it on a lot of characters, but just not this one. And then this ability is so good. So I feel like she's almost pre-built. I feel like even though she has a lot of like, you know, what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 12 different abilities here. I feel like she's almost comes pre-built for you where you don't actually get to choose the abilities. They're not that hard to like decide between. Because I feel like you need both of these. This is by far her better reaction. This is, you know, this is a better auto attack because it has a chance to stun. You could do this, but it's like, come on. Are you really going to give up your chance to stun a character? This ability is insane. So yeah, it's just like a little bit of frustration where I didn't feel like, I wish that they had a little more, I don't know. I wish they gave her 1 or 2 more abilities that could pivot her in a different direction. More, like maybe another more damage focused ability, like, you know, gain attack based on your health or something that you could convert her into like a super HP carry damage dealer, even though it may not be that good and it may not be suggested. Just something that gives her a little more like less pre-built when you get her. But that being said, I think she's probably the strongest character in the game right now. Simona, I thought was the strongest character in the game, and I think at the time she was. New character, new strongest character in the game. I mean, I think this character is, based off what I've seen in Tower of Adversity, like the top 10 teams at the hardest PvE content in the game that we don't even have yet, all used 5-star Coco in their teams. So is she going to be as good not at 5 stars? Of course not. But I mean, I think she's like a future-proof unit. Not literally every unit will be replaced, but she seems like an absolute stud, bro. And I highly recommend you consider getting her. I know it's easier said than done. You got to spend pulls on it. But if you're saving your pulls, I mean, it's probably worth saving your pulls because it's never a bad idea. The worst thing you do is get the newest on-banner character. But I think I'm comfortable saying this character is worth pulling. Not just from a cool, fun, wow, this character is fun and adds fun gameplay mechanics like I felt with Edda, where Edda's powerful and cool and I like her and she's like really fun to use. But Coco, I'm here, is like, she's just fucking out here stomping scrubs, man. She is so, I've only had her for a day, and she's like, feels like the most crucial unit in my account, if I'm being completely honest. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye! Platypus on the rise, watch the view.